Hello. So it's Saturday the 20th of June, about 2 o'clock PM, and I'm using my GoPro Hero 8 for the first time. I'm going to head into the city centre to see it's the end of the first week of the easing of the lockdown, so all the non-essential shops are open. So I'm going to head into the city centre and just see what's going on. I'm going to walk down. It took me about 45 minutes, I think. I'm on the Manor top at the minute, just passing Manor Top Fisheries on my left, what used to be Beckett's, which used to be the best fish and chip shop. Yeah, so I've got my kefir drink, got my psychedelic face mask, so I'm all set to go. So this place on the left, City Groceries, used to be a video shop. It used to be called AD Video, and every Saturday me and a friend used to come with his dad to try and get all the latest horror movies. We had to bring his dad with us because we were only about 10 at the time. So we used to come up, and there were 3 films that we always used to want to see. There's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Evil Dead, and The Exorcist. And every week they were always out. Someone had beat us to it. Apart from one week where, ironically, the week where his dad didn't come up with us and they were all in. So we stood there with the covers for these 3 video nasties in our hand, and I decided to give it a go, see if they'd let us have them. And I can remember handing the boxes over to the guy behind the counter, cigarette hanging out of his mouth, and he looked at each one and then looked at us, then looked at the next one, then looked at us, then the next one, then looked at us, and then just slammed them down on the counter, gave us the tapes and said, "Don't blame me if you have fucking nightmares." So that was good, back in the good old days. And just past there, that shop there that's to let, used to be an Indian curry house. I think that's a victim of the coronavirus because it was open a few weeks ago. That used to be a video shop as well, called Ronian Video. Called Ronian because the owners were Ron and Ian. Let's wait for the time to go past. Yeah, Ron was the father, Ian was the son. And Ian, we used to think, was just the coolest guy on earth because, yeah, he ran a video shop, which to us was the ultimate job. And he was really cool with us. He'd give us free posters and cardboard cutouts and whatnot. And so every Saturday we used to go up there, we'd order 3 films, and we'd turn up hoping that the films had been brought back. And sometimes they'd not, and we'd have to stand and wait. There used to be a little arcade upstairs, so we sometimes used to go in there. Waiting for the films to be returned so we could take them home and sit and eat lots of junk and watch dodgy 80s horror films. Again, we were underage, but they knew us and they were really nice with us. I think it got took over by Blockbuster eventually, and then yeah, then they gave it up and they moved to Fir Vale, I think. And then eventually went the way of all other video shops. So yeah, some of the sights of the Manor Top. So this is part of the Park Hill Flats, big social housing project from the 1960s, I think. It was a very popular idea at the time to build these big high-rise social housing projects. I lived in a 15-floor block of flats on Norfolk Park until I was about 8, and there used to be, I'm not sure how many there were, but there were lots of them, and they were all being pulled down about 20 years ago, I think. They did try to pull Park Hill Flats down at one point, but it's a listed building, so they had to leave it. It's a huge social housing complex. A lot of it now is just left in ruins, but they did try to upgrade the part that overlooks the city centre and turned them into luxury flats and tried to pass them off as city living. I'm not sure how successful they were with that. I know at the start they basically sold none. No one wanted to live in them. I think the stigma of Park Hill never really went away, so people didn't really want to pay what was actually quite a lot of money for these old council houses. But looking at it now, it does look like there's quite a few. They all look pretty populated now. I mean, they've been modernised, I guess, inside. But I think this is the only part that's actually open these days. I'm guessing there'll be lifts. I'm not sure if there were lifts before. I mean, I would have thought there would be. Because there's, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 floors. So I would imagine that there were lifts, and that probably didn't work most of the time or stunk of urine. Certainly was the case with the block of flats that I used to live in. If the lifts weren't working, you took the stairs, and we were about halfway up. We were on the 8th floor, so luckily I had young legs back then. But yeah, so it looks like after a slow start that this place is actually being occupied. If you come into the city centre from the motorway, then the Park Hill is the first thing you'll notice. It's a big ugly building, but it is listed, so it's going to be with us for a long time. So I've hit the city centre now. It took me less time than I thought it would do to get here. Walked all the way down City Road and then past the Park Hill Flats, which you can just see in the distance there. And now I'm on the tram tracks. So just took the couple of 100 metres or so, I'll be in the city centre. So let's see what's going on. So my first stop is I'm just going to walk down Castlegate, which used to be one of the busiest parts of town. The old castle market used to be here, but that's been closed for a few years. So this place is kind of just gone downhill a bit, to be honest. It's not a great deal down here, apart from cheap food stores. You've got your B&M, Fulton's, Heron Foods over there. So I'm just going to have a quick wander around. Fulton's is open. Looks like Wilco's is as well. So this is where the old castle market used to be. Not there anymore. Bit of Sheffield history there. Remember that stall, I think. I think that used to be just down there, where the old sheep market used to be, which is also not there anymore. Lots of street art around here, which is nice. A couple of years ago they held a festival on here, live music and street food. It's pretty cool, and it made me discover a couple of places that I didn't know existed. A couple of bars that popped up in a couple of the old shops. Just there is a place called Frehiwet Habisha restaurant. It's Ethiopian and Eritrean food. It's pretty good. So this is one of the places. Plot 22. Obviously it's closed at the minute, but yeah, it was a real good night in there. Can't remember what it used to be. A clothes shop, I think. And then just here, a place called the Delicious Clam, which also has live music kind of stuff. It's only small. Did see a band there that night, I can't remember what they were called. They were really good though. Yeah, so not a great deal going on around here. It's very quiet. There's an Oyo hotel over there. Stayed in a few of them in Indonesia. Indian hotel. It's not really a chain, I think it's like a franchise. A lot of the smaller hotels sign up to Oyo to give them a bigger internet presence. So yeah, we stayed in a few with mixed quality. Some were good, some were pretty bad. Nice towels. So yeah, so far it's pretty quiet, but it's never usually that busy around here anyway, I don't think. Trawler's fish and chip shop, pretty decent there. Big portions, cheap, not open. Hot dog hut, been there once, that was decent. And another Ethiopian Eritrean restaurant, which I had been to, and was also quite good. And this place is open since, well, opened whilst I was travelling around Southeast Asia. A place called Commune, which is, it's got a number of different restaurants inside. So you can go there as a group, but you can all eat different things. Not been there yet. Don't know if you can see inside. Looks quite expensive. Then again, everything's expensive when you've been travelling around Southeast Asia for a year. So this is the high street. So as you can see, there's a few people around, but not many. Argos was closed. Pizza Hut open for takeaway. Sports Direct are open. Yeah, people queuing to get in. Sports Direct, if you remember right at the start of lockdown, asked the government if they could stay open because they claimed to be excuse me, essential. So I'm on the far gate now, which is one of the main shopping areas in the city centre. You can see all the shops have got the social distancing signs outside, and there's these yellow lines to tell people, well, I'm not exactly sure what, because people are walking pretty much everywhere. It's not packed, there's a few people around. I'm not sure whether I should be walking in between these or not, because no one seems to be paying any attention to them. Anyway, because there's a few people around, it's time for the psychedelic mask. So walking down the mall now, which is a few people around, it's not as busy as it normally is. Still not totally sure what these yellow lines are for. But yeah, it's a little bit back to normality. So you kind of get the feeling that, well, just looking around and people wearing masks and people keeping the distance, and half of the shops are still closed. But there's this feeling in the air that people are not quite feeling safe. Rightly so, because we're not out of this by a long shot. But I guess the shops opening is the first step back towards some kind of normality, whatever normal will mean once we come out of all of this. So I'm getting to the bottom of the mall now. I might go further, I might go up London Road. I did actually come to town for a reason. I need to buy some ingredients because I've been missing Southeast Asian food, so I need to buy some things so I can make myself some mu ping and also some laksa, which is a Malaysian kind of like a sour noodle soup, and the ingredients I can't get from our local shops. But hopefully, certainly in the mall market, there's a couple of continental stores where I should be able to pick up things like lemongrass and fish sauce and all the other things that I'll need to make Malaysian food with. I want to make masaman as well in Penang, but we'll see. I've got a list. I'm going to go in now and see if I can get all the stuff I came here for. So I'm in the mall market now. The last time I tried to do a vlog in here, I got closed down by a very angry woman in one of the cafes. But they're closed now, so she's not going to complain anyway. So, how you doing? Right. So, looks like it's a one-way system. Right, I need some pork neck to make my mu ping.
Nice to see you. Yeah, likewise. Good to see you. I'll see you in soon.
Nice supermarket back open again. Can't see any pork neck though. Might be it for the meat products. There's one more over here. Try that. It's all Manor, it's just pork chips. Okay, I'm going to buy from here. It's a one-way system, but it's just arrows pointing in every direction. No, I can't go up there. That's what I want. Disobeying the one-way system there, but it's okay. I'm going to turn this off so I can look at my shopping list. Well, the mud market wasn't a great success. I couldn't find the pork neck that I needed to make mukbang. I was going to get a few bits in there, a few chilies, some bay leaves and stuff. I realised I didn't actually have any money on me, and they don't take card in the market, so I ended up having to go to Sainsbury's and buying everything from there. I did get all the ingredients I need to make Alexa. I just need the protein now, so I think I'm going to go for tofu. So there's a Chinese supermarket just here. Hopefully they'll have bags of tofu. Let's see. That's what I'm looking for. £90 though. Pay about 20p for that market. I'm gonna go. Let's see what else I've got. Keep checking. Eggs. Could be some bay leaves. I don't know if they're selling in there. What else do I need? I'm sure I need something else. Look at that. Cheap little I just paid as well. Huge spring onions. Pastes. Okay, I think that'll be me done, I think. Well, success at the Chinese supermarket. I got the tofu that I was after, and also a bag of chilies. So I've got everything I need to make the Alexa. So I'll be doing that on Monday. And I'm just going to have a walk down here now because I think there's another Oriental supermarket down here. I'll tell if that's on green or not. And I'm going to have a look for some paste to make a Penang curry, because I've seen a recipe which looks really good, and it's not just a paste recipe, but it does require some paste. So I'm going to have a look, see what they've got, and then that'll be me done, I think. My first venture into town in, well, 3 months, something like that. Ah, you can see the Chinese supermarket is just coming up on my left. Hoping it's going to be open. Oi Soy Oriental Food Market. It used to be further up. There used to be another Chinese supermarket just further up, and then that was taken over by Oi Soy, and then they closed and moved here whilst I was in Southeast Asia. I did come here before. Seemed a little bit pricey, and there's a restaurant in here as well. I'm not even sure if it's open. It doesn't look very open, to be honest. And that might just be the restaurant park. Oh no. No, the whole thing is shit. Doesn't say anything about Corona. Maybe it's just closed. No, it's shelves are well stocked. Right, I think I'm going to head for the tram. So I was going to get the tram home. I've finished in town now. I got to the tram stop and then told these people to start chilling out. And thought, you know what, I'm going to go and sit down there for a bit, look out over the city, and then I'm going to walk back. It's only 4:15, so nothing to rush home for really. So yeah, just going to chill out here for a bit and then walk back to Gleedless, all uphill. Well, after that little sit down, I decided I couldn't be bothered walking after all. So I'm walking for the tram now, which according to the sign should be here in 2 minutes, so that's good timing. I've got my face covering, so I'll be allowed on, because as of Monday of this week you're not allowed to use public transport without some kind of face covering. Why that wasn't the rule right from the start, I don't know. No one's managed to explain that to me yet. But yeah, so 3 months in and we finally have to wear masks on, well, face coverings on public transport. So yeah, that's it, that's me done in town. First day in 3 months. It was okay. I didn't really see, it wasn't mega busy, but there were plenty, you know, there were plenty of people around. I guess it still had a feeling that people were still a bit tense. I don't know whether that was just in my head, but certainly, you know, you're walking around and there's all the social distancing signs on the floor and the yellow lines and people wearing masks. We're nowhere near back to normal by a long stretch, and I don't know when that will happen. Well, no one knows, but maybe never. Maybe the normal that we were used to is never coming back and we have to get used to a new kind of normal. But you know, the pubs might be closed, but at least I managed to get my ingredients for my Malaysian laksa, so that was one good thing. Unfortunately no pork neck, so I can't make mu ping just yet, so I'll have to put that one on the back burner for now. But yeah, I have a backpack full of ingredients that I wouldn't have been able to get from the local supermarket, so it's been, I suppose it's been a success. And now I'm going to go back to Gleedless, buy some wine and some beers, and then chill out tonight with a curry, making a chicken sail on tonight. I can see the tram just about to pull in now, so I better put my mask on so he stops. And yeah, well, that's me for this video. And hopefully in the not too distant future there'll be many more videos in much more interesting places. I was looking last night and I got a rough plan of starting off in Poland, then Slovakia, then Romania, Bulgaria, Turkey, Georgia, Greece. So all them places, and I'll be vlogging from all of them. So this tram looks pretty empty. I got on this the other day and it was full. Need to find my bank card as well. So let's just get on here.
This is the Blue Route service to Gleadless. Hold tight, please. Wherever possible, please observe government guidance regarding social distancing whilst on trams. The next stop by request will be Park Grange Croft.
Is this new, all this stuff? When did that come in?
Probably within the last couple of weeks.
Alright, because I got a tram like, yeah, probably about a couple of weeks ago and there was none of this.
Yeah, it's when we increased the service again, like over the last couple of weeks, we increased it to try and...
Because you reduced it down to like
Hold
a
tight,
service
please.
before.
Wherever
so...
possible, please observe government guidance regarding social distancing whilst on trams.
Cheers, thank you.
The next stop.
Yes.